Okay, thanks for holding, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started. My name is Stephanie Abrams, and I'll be walking you through our Showing Time for the MLS Core Quick Start training, courtesy of Contra Costa Association of Realtors. You all went live with Showing Time earlier this week, so this is all available to you right now. Showing Time for the MLS Core is much like having a personal assistant, and we're going to go through everything you need to know today on how to get started using Showing Time right away. But first, a couple of things about the webinar. It will be a one-way broadcast, and to get audio, you can either switch here to phone call and use a telephone to dial in, or you can switch to computer audio in order for that audio to come through on your computer speakers. And then because it's going to be a one-way broadcast, you won't be able to ask questions verbally, but please feel free to enter them into this chat box, and I will make sure we get all your questions answered for you. We are also recording today's session, so everyone will receive another email from GoToWebinar a couple hours from now, and you'll be able to watch this on demand as well. But here's the agenda of everything we'll be going over in our Quick Start training. We're going to walk through how you access your showing time setup, how to add your secure showing instructions. We'll also walk through scheduling individual appointments in Paragon. As well, we'll build a buyer tour using ShowingCart, which is one of our most popular features. Next, we'll look at your agent settings. I'll show you all the different ways you can set your preferences there. And then we'll also walk through how you can easily get our mobile app installed and signed in. We highly suggest agents take advantage of our mobile app. There's so many great features in our app that help you stay productive on the go. And then next we'll look at listing setup. This is all the different ways that you can configure your listings as a listing agent. And then the listing activity report is going to be a nice snapshot of all the showing and feedback activity. Any broker owners joining us today, I'll quickly point you to where you can access your office setup. And then finally, I'll just point everyone to our help and training site, which is going to be a great resource for you going forward. It's chocked full of video tutorials and step-by-step instructions as well. It houses the contact information of our member support team that is available to you 7 days a week. And then with this slide, just a quick note that in today's training, we're talking about Showing Time for the MLS, which is the agent-to-agent online scheduling and feedback management tool that's integrated right into your Paragon system. Some of you may subscribe to our premium products, either Showing Time Appointment Center or Showing Time Front Desk. And just a quick note for you guys, now that Showing Time for the MLS Core is integrated in your MLS, there isn't anything unique or different that you will need to do. All the added benefit for you all is all the appointments that are going to be scheduled in the MLS, they will flow very seamlessly into those other products for handling as normal, as all of our showing solutions integrate very seamlessly with one another. So showing the online scheduling of Showing Time for the MLS will supplement your premium services. All right, and to begin, let's go ahead and show you how to access, your Showing Time setup once you're logged into Paragon. When you're logged into Paragon, we're going to be right here on the home page located under Preferences. So you're going to see Showing Time Setup under there. And once you click on Showing Time Setup, it's going to bring you right in, and the dashboard will give you a quick snapshot of all your showing and feedback activity. As an example, listing agents, you'll be able to quickly see here any outstanding appointments that need your confirmation. The left-hand side is how you will navigate through the system. And we're going to start by heading over to Listing Setup to show you right away, show listing agents how you can add those secure showing instructions to your listing, which is a real time saver when you add them to the listing worksheet right when that property is available and ready to show. So to add those instructions, you're going to head over to Listing Setup and then click on the listing number that you want to add those showing instructions to. That'll bring you to the listing worksheet for that particular property. So here's where you're going to make any adjustments that you need to for that listing, and we'll go through all these listing level settings a little bit later on, but right now I just want to focus on showing you how to add your secure showing instructions. As well, I do want to point out that now that we are live in your market, the online scheduling piece is live, all the listings are going to be set to appointment required as the default. And with appointment required, that means the showing agent will need to pick an available date and time to show the property, and then they'll need to wait for the listing agent to confirm that appointment before they receive any showing instructions, which live a little bit further down here on the listing worksheet. So it's two parts. You have the access information where you're going to put in the access details and alarm details if there are some. For the access details, you'll see a drop down where you can select what kind of lockbox it is and put in the code information, or maybe who's going to be providing access to the property. Also part of your secure showing instructions is this free text box. So the additional instructions here, you can put in any helpful information for the showing agents, such as maybe the location of the lockbox if it's unique, there's pets in the home, please take off your shoes, please leave feedback, that kind of thing. And then anytime you make changes to your listing worksheet, including when you add your secure showing instructions, just a quick note here that it will always prompt you to save those changes at the top of the window. So just make sure you do, so all your changes will save. Next, we're going to walk through the 4 different ways you can receive your notifications from ShowingTime. And before I do that, I want to point out something that you'll definitely want to be mindful of, and that is that all the notifications you will receive from ShowingTime, they're going to be dedicated for your eyes only. So you're never going to want to forward them on to anyone for any reason. The notifications you're going to receive will contain not only the link to the appointment in question, but you'll also be able to get into your full ShowingTime profile. So you can do other tasks as you need to do while you're there, check other appointments, confirm other appointments, etc. So again, the big takeaway here is just remember not to forward them on to anyone. They are for your eyes only. And then email is the first way you'll be able to receive your notifications. We always set email as the default when we go live in a new market. You can also opt into receiving text messages. You'll have two-way text messaging available to you. Showing voice is a third option. We also turn on showing voice when we launch in a new market. We want to ensure that agents don't miss any of their notifications. Showing voice is an automated calling system, and an example of how it works. It'll call the listing agent and read them the details of that appointment request. And the listing agent will be able to hit 1 to confirm, 2 to repeat the message, 3 to decline the appointment, that kind of thing. And then finally, there's push notifications from our mobile app. Again, we're going to walk through how you can easily get our mobile app installed and take advantage of all the great features that it has. But next, let's dive into scheduling. So those were the 4 different ways you can receive your notifications. And when we head over to your agent setup in a little bit, I'll show you how you can set your preferences there. But next, we're going to walk through scheduling individual appointments in Paragon. And we'll schedule appointments on listings that are set to each of the 3 different ways that a listing agent can configure their listings. So there's appointment required, I mentioned, is the default, but there's also go and show and view instructions only. And we'll also go through the entire workflow. We'll walk through a showing agent submitting that request and how a listing agent will confirm the appointment. And we'll start with appointment required. So when you're in Paragon and you're looking at your search results, what you can do is click on the MLS number of the property that you want to schedule a showing on. And when you're looking at the full report here under the showing and listing information section, you'll see that schedule a showing link. So go ahead and click on that. That'll bring you to the first step in scheduling that appointment. At the top of the window, you're going to see, of course, the property that you're scheduling on, but you'll also be able to see the appointment type that the listing is set to. So we can see this one is set to appointment required, which tells that showing agent they're going to need to wait for confirmation. The bottom of the window is going to house your contact information as a showing agent. And this is a sticky window, which means whatever you type in here last for your contact information and whatever selections you make here last, that's going to save for future. Once you hit that schedule a single showing button, that'll save here. And a tip for you here, if you'd like to add multiple email addresses here, you certainly can. Maybe you want to add your assistant as an example. Just separate multiple email addresses with a comma and no spaces. All right, to continue scheduling, we'll hit schedule a single showing. And the next step, because that listing is set to appointment required, the showing agent's going to see this calendar view so they can choose an available date and time. So anything in black on the calendar is unavailable to show. Either the listing agent has set up some restrictions or the time has passed. Anything in gray is short notice. That is the suggested lead time that has been set on the listing by the listing agent. And when you go to schedule during this window of time, you'll also receive a pop-up, just an alert that reminds you that it is short notice, so you may not be able to get confirmed in time. And then these appointments on the calendar here, they don't have anything to do with the property that we're scheduling on. These are actually appointments that the showing agent already has confirmed or requested, And we do that for showing agents so they can see right up front what they already have going on and they don't overbook themselves. But to continue scheduling, we'll choose an available date and time. The next step is to give the listing agent a few more details about the request. You're going to indicate what type of appointment it is, first time showing, second time showing, agent preview, other options as well, including the option to select a virtual tour. So you're definitely able to select on behalf of your buyer if they would like maybe that first showing to be a virtual tour, you can select that. And then optionally, you can indicate what is the latest time you might be leaving the property. Rather, optionally, you can adjust what is the latest time you might be leaving the property. So for example, you have a buyer, you know they're going to need a little extra time. You can adjust that if you need to. You can also optionally indicate your buyer's name here, which is a great reference tool. I highly recommend you take advantage of it. It's not going to be seen by the listing agent, so no worries there. It's strictly a reference tool for showing agents. It's going to allow you to pull up a nice report in ShowingTime of all your appointments associated to your buyer. So a nice one-stop shop for that information. And then finally, a free text box to put in any questions or comments. Once that showing agent hits yes, that appointment request is fired off to the listing side right away. Because the listing was set to appointment required, they're going to see this red triangle. Again, that lets them know they're not yet confirmed, and they'll need to wait for confirmation before they receive any showing instructions to show the home. So again, this is the default setting now that we're live for all the listings, and it's also a popular setting with vacant homes where you and your sellers may want to review those dates and times first. All right, and that appointment request we just made, here's the request that goes out to the listing agent by email. So you can see all the details of that showing request is going to be in the email message body of the email for them, with the exception of the showing agent information, but they'll see that on the next screen. So to take action here, the listing agent is going to hit that big blue action required button, which will pull up this window here, giving them all the appointment details again. And now they'll see the name and contact information of that showing agent requesting the appointment. And so if you're the kind of agent who likes to give that personal touch, we hear this a lot, ShowingTime doesn't replace the personal touch in any way. It just makes your life a little easier. It's going to document everything for you. You've got all the details of this appointment request right here in the email message and your notifications. So better than a voicemail where you may not have received all the details that you needed. But once you've if you wanted to chat with that agent, maybe learn more about their buyer, tell them more about the property. Once you're ready to confirm the appointment, then at the bottom of this window is going to be your showing instructions. These will be nice and pre-populated here for you if you had filled them in on the listing worksheet. That's what we talked about right at the beginning. And then, of course, if anything special is going on that particular day, you can modify these instructions and they'll only apply to this appointment that you're confirming. All right, so the agent is able to confirm the appointment, propose a new time, or decline the appointment. We're going to hit confirm appointment. And when we do that, confirmation notices are sent out to the listing and showing side right away. This is the confirmation notice to the listing agent. And the confirmation notice to the showing agent is now going to include those secure showing instructions. So we're going to give them the access details here now that that appointment has been confirmed. All right, next, as a listing agent, you can also configure your listings as a go and show. And with a go and show, agents will still need to pick an available date and time to show the property. But once they do, those appointments will be confirmed automatically and confirmation notices sent out to all parties right away. So this one's popular with vacant homes on Lockbox. And the workflow here when when a showing agent schedules an appointment on a listing that is set to go and show, as we can see at the top here, that appointment type is go and show. Once they hit schedule a single showing, again, they'll choose an available date and time from the calendar and fill in those appointment details. But once they do, that appointment's confirmed and confirmation notices are sent out right away. The showing agent is going to see this green circle with a check mark. That lets them know they're confirmed. And again, we'll give them those access details now that it's confirmed. So popular setting with vacant homes, new construction, but it could also be used if you have really flexible sellers that really want to maximize the amount of showings that they can receive. You can adjust your suggested lead time on the individual listing level according to their needs and then set your appointment type to go and show. All All right, finally, there's view instructions only, and with this setting, agents aren't actually scheduling an appointment. So this one's going to be used strictly for tracking purposes. As well, it's going to document, or I'm sorry, it's going to gather feedback for you automatically. It's a popular setting with vacant lot and vacant land. Or if you have to refer the showing agents to a property manager or anyone else that needs to be reached out to in order to set up that appointment. And the workflow here, when that showing agent clicks that schedule a single showing button on a listing set to view instructions to schedule, again, they're not going to see a calendar. They're not going to fill in any appointment details. They'll be presented with those showing instructions right away. So like I mentioned, popular with vacant lot and vacant land, as well as if you need to point them to someone else to set up that appointment. And then this way you're going to be able to view a list of all the agents who have viewed these instructions, so you can follow up on that interest. And as well, the system's going to gather feedback for you automatically. Right, so those were the 3 different ways you can configure your listings as a listing agent and how to schedule individual appointments in Paragon. Next, we're going to walk through scheduling multiple appointments all at once and build a buyer tour. This is one of our most popular features, again, allowing you to schedule multiple appointments at once and send a nice summary off to your buyer. So to start a buyer tour using ShowingCart, let's say you're on a particular property that you would like to add to a ShowingCart and start building out your buyer tour. You can click on that same schedule a showing link that you would to schedule an individual showing, but instead you'll hit add to ShowingCart. And a tip for you here, if you had existing showing carts created, this button would look a little bit different. It would allow you to add that listing to an existing cart that you were working on, or create a brand new one, which is what we're going to do. So the first step in creating a brand new buyer tour is to give it a date for your tour, associate it to your buyer, give it a description, and hit OK. And you can see this is what the showing cart looks like. You can see that listing we were on was successfully added. And I'll walk you through how to add some more properties to your showing cart here. One is by MLS number. So you can add the MLS numbers at the top. And once you hit go, those will all be added for you. You also have some really nice integration in Paragon, which allows you to select multiple properties and add them all at once. And to do that, when you're looking at your search results, go ahead and make your selections of all those properties. And then you're going to look to the top of the window in the top action bar here and click on Actions. Underneath that Actions menu, you'll see Showing Time. That's going to allow you to add all those properties to your showing cart at once. And then if you need to find a property by its address, you can use this Add Listing Stop button in order to find that property by address. Just enter in some or all of the address information, hit search, and select the property when it comes up. Also, to add any outside stops, such as meeting your clients at your office or a coffee shop in between, you can use this Add Other Stop button to add any outside locations. And in this example, let's say I'll meet my clients at my office, so I'll add that as a stop. You can see it was added to the very bottom here. The next step, once you have all your properties in your showing cart, these are the homes you're going to tour for the day. Step 2 is to get them in the order that you're going to receive, in the order that you're going to go see them. And right below all the listings is going to be a nice large map to help you build out those driving directions. Also, you can click this turn-by-turn directions button, which will open up on the left-hand side and give you the time and the distance between each stop, which might be helpful for you when you start setting your appointment times. But first, in order to get the properties in the order that you're going to go see them. So there's a couple of ways you can manually shuffle them around, and then one that'll do all the work for you. For example, you can drag and drop these properties in any order. To set my office as the starting location, I can just hold down my left mouse key, drag that location to the top and let go. There's also these numbers on the left-hand side, so you can use those to manually shuffle them around. But to make things nice and easy, just click on Smart Route. Once you have your starting point set, just click on Smart Route. That's going to do all the work for you and put the rest of the properties in a logical order based off your starting point. All right, now that all the properties are in the order that you're going to go tour them, next is to start setting those appointment times. That's the third step here. Hit that Pick a Time button next to each property in your cart and fill in the appointment details when that window pops up and hit Save. Again, you'll do that for each property in your cart. You're going to hit that Pick a Time button, set those appointment times. You're going to notice on the right-hand side, you'll be able to see all the appointment times that you picked visually here, so you can spot the overlapping times as well as any errors in case you need to make any corrections. But once you have it all set and you're ready to check out, so to speak, kind of like online shopping, in the top right-hand corner, click that Send Requests button, and all of the appointment requests are going to be sent out right away. So in this example ShowingCart that we are working on, you can see I had 2 Go and Show listings that were instantly confirmed for me, and I have access to the showing instructions. But 2 appointment required listings indicated by the red triangles, so those I'll need to wait for confirmation. And when you need to walk away from a ShowingCart that you were working on while you're waiting for those confirmations, here's how you can pull it back up again. In the left-hand menu of ShowingTime, just click on Showings and then ShowingCart. That's going to pull up this calendar view for you here, where you can then just click on the name of that tour from the calendar. All right, in this example cart that we are working on, all the appointments have been confirmed. And here's how you can send a nice summary off to your buyer. You can certainly print this if you'd like. There is a buyer and an agent version. We definitely recommend sending this to your buyer by email. It's going to send them a nice electronic version that they can open on their mobile device and get driving directions as well. So when you click on that email envelope icon, you're going to see this window here, which allows you to tailor a nice message to them. You'll notice that it's sent in a link format. So this is the link to the tour summary. So as a tip, you can also send this to maybe an agent in the office or a family member if you'd like. Maybe for safety reasons, you want them to know, someone to know where you're going to be at for the day. You certainly can copy and paste that link and send it to someone. But once you hit send, here is the electronic version of that buyer tour summary that's sent off to your buyer. And also on this, in this summary here, you'll notice this car icon on each one. So when your buyer opens this up on their mobile device and taps on that car icon, it's going to go ahead and launch whatever the default mapping software is on their device and give them driving directions to your next stop. All right, so that was using ShowingCart to build a buyer tour. Next, we're going to head over to your agent setup. If you haven't gone here yet, highly recommend this is the first place you go. Set it and forget it. You'll definitely want to make sure your preferences are set so that ShowingTime works well for you. To get to your edit agent profile, you're going to click this Edit Profile button from the dashboard, or you can hit the Edit pencil next to your name. So at the top of the window, if you need to add or swap out your photo, just click that white arrow and grab a photo from your computer. The top of the window is going to house your contact information as a listing agent. I mentioned that if you want to receive your notifications by text message, you'll need to opt into that. So here's where you're going to do it. Just switch this just switch this phone type here to mobile phone. Obviously, make sure we have the correct cell phone number here and that you've opted in. And then listing agent preferences are a little further down here. This is where you can set any preferences as a listing agent, such as you can set your own default appointment mode for the types of properties that you list the most. Here's where you're going to adjust how you want to receive your notifications from ShowingTime. Again, email and showing voice are always on by default, but you can make your preferences set here. Anytime you make changes to your listing agent preferences, just a quick note that it will always prompt you to save those changes. And it'll want to know if we should apply those changes to all of your existing active on the market listings, as well as future listings, or just future listings. So for example, if you change that appointment type from appointment required to go and show, should we apply that change to all your listings that are actively on the market right now, as well as new ones, or just new ones? Next up is showing agent preferences. Definitely some settings you'll want to check out as a showing agent here, especially ones that can save you those valuable clicks when you're scheduling your appointments and your buyer tours, such as setting your own default type and length for those appointments. All right, next we're going to walk through how you can easily get our mobile app installed. Again, we highly recommend you take advantage of our mobile app. And to get yourself installed, or to get the mobile app installed and signed in very easily, what you can do is send yourself an email generated from your agent profile here. So you'll only want to send this to you because this link is going to be special and it's going to be authenticated to your ShowingTime profile. So once you hit this send authentication link button, we're going to generate an email to you. go ahead and open up that email on the device that you would like to install the app on. You'll tap on download the app, which is going to bring you straight to where you need to go. It'll bring you straight to the App Store. Go ahead and go through the steps of installing the ShowingTime app on your device. And then when you're done installing it, don't try and sign in. There actually is no username or password with ShowingTime for the MLS Core. So instead, come right back here to the same email that we sent you, tap on login, that'll sign you right in. And if you need to put the mobile app on multiple devices, you can just go through these exact same steps. All right, and here's what the mobile app looks like. It syncs seamlessly with the desktop. You'll see the 3 lines at the top, that hamburger icon, that will always open up the menu for you. So of course you're able to confirm, schedule your appointments while you're on the go, see all your upcoming showing appointments and buyer tours. If you forgot to send that buyer tour off to your buyer when you were at the office, you can certainly do it from the app here. Read, review, and respond to feedback. Get those push notifications for all your requests and confirmations that can't be blocked. And then also a nice feature is finding nearby listings to show. So maybe you're out with your buyer and you want to find some more homes to tour. You can easily locate nearby properties, schedule those appointments, and walk your buyer right into the door. So those are just some of the great features available to you with our mobile app. All right, next we're going to circle back to listing setup. This is really the last main section that we'll go over today. This is where we started the day, where I showed you how to add those secure showing instructions, and now we'll go through the rest of the listing level settings. So back to listing setup, again, we'll select a property here to bring us to that listing worksheet. We'll start at the top and work our way down. So at the top of the window, if you have other active showable properties, you'll just see a drop down there allowing you to toggle to them, saving you some clicks. You're going to be able to set your appointment type at the individual listing level, of course. And the next is contacts. With ShowingTime for the MLS Core, you are able to add one co-listing agent to your listing. And it's important to note that a co-listing agent in ShowingTime, it could be a team member, or I'm sorry, it could be a formal co-listing agent, but it could also be a team member, an agent in the office, maybe if you're going on vacation, an assistant, basically anyone who's going to help you manage the appointments for that listing. All right, and next up is where you're going to set your appointment restrictions here. So I mentioned you can set your own, you can adjust the required and suggested lead time at the individual listing level. As well, this big blue add new showing restrictions button, that's what you're going to click on to add any restrictions, such as you can add multiple restrictions. Maybe there's painting on Monday from 2 to 4, and then Friday the carpets are being changed from 3 to 6. You can add multiple restrictions. As well, you can add reoccurring restrictions in there. So maybe Mondays from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. are never going to be any good for your sellers. They have commitments during that time. So you can set up a reoccurring restriction there. And then lastly, here's those secure showing instructions. We've talked about them a few times now. Really real time saver for listing agents when you come in here and add them right away, right when that property is ready to show. And then every time you go to confirm an appointment, we're going to populate these for you. All right, next, the listing activity report. This is a nice snapshot of all the showing and feedback activity since the beginning of time, since we picked it up in ShowingTime. I also do just want to quickly point out here that there is this attachments button. It's a popular feature. I definitely like to point it out. You're able to upload attachments to your listing, and all the attachments will be automatically sent to all the showing agents who request appointments with you. So disclosures, maybe the PED form, any form. You can add up to 10 attachments there. All right, and then the listing activity report. Here's what it looks like, a nice snapshot at the top summary there. All your feedback responses will be listed here. And then the listing activity details section, that's going to list all the appointments in chronological order for you. All right, and then next I want to show you as a showing agent how you can look at your feedback that you have or have not yet submitted. To access your feedback as a showing agent, in the left-hand menu, just click My Feedback. That'll pull up all your feedback here. You'll notice that if it's white with some dots in it, that means you haven't submitted that feedback yet. So you can certainly click in there. The feedback form will pull up for you and you could submit it. If it's blacked out, that means you've already submitted feedback to them. All right, we are wrapping things up here. Any broker owners joining us today, whenever you access office level users access ShowingTime, they're going to see office setup in the left-hand menu. So that's how you're going to access any office level settings available to you here. All right, finally, I just want to point everyone to our help and training site. This is going to be a great resource for you. You can access it within the tool here by just going to help and support in the left-hand menu. You can search by any training topic. Another popular feature I like to mention is calendar sync. So you can sync all your showing appointments to your personal calendar, your Google Calendar, iCal, or Outlook. And if you type calendar sync in here, it's going to give you some nice, simple instructions to set that up. And then to get a hold of our support team, they are available to you 7 days a week. We do have phone support and email support. We definitely recommend live chat. It's the fastest way to get yourself quickly connected with a live support technician for some fast help. All right, well, that concludes our showing time for the MLS Core Quick Start training. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate the time you spent with us. I do see one question in here. We are recording today's session. So the answer is yes, everyone who registered. A couple hours from now, you're going to receive an email from GoToWebinar with a link to view this training on demand. Please feel free to forward it to on to any colleagues as well. All right, and I'm going to stick around in case anyone has any more questions. Please feel free to put them in that chat box. But for those not sticking around and who are leaving us, thank you again for joining us. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I hope you all are staying safe and healthy, and happy scheduling.